So we wanted to jump on and just touch on a few things today that we thought could clear up some of the questions that we are been asked. Sorry. How do you want to start? We're going to talk about paychecks. We're going to talk about the HDH testimonial group. We're going to talk about Vicky and inside legs, and then the call tonight. So how do you want to handle this, Kevin?
I would say let's start with paychecks.
Okay.
Since that's what everybody really is here about. As much as they enjoy the product, let's just be honest. Let's get paid. So, when you set this up, and a lot of times I think, we just have to go back and check our profile, but there's a section in your profile that says edit bonus account. I would strongly encourage everybody just to make sure that their direct deposit is selected. Unless you have a real hankering for paper, feel free to, absolutely set it up for direct deposit, put your routing number, your account number in again. And by saving that, and then also just making sure that that's absolutely accurate. This system, when you get your first paycheck, it's usually 2 weeks out, because they just have to go through the process and making sure it's set up. It's like, it's like any other banking process. So, as they deliver these checks, and it'll come on a weekly basis, and Emily, you can back me up. I mean, you've been getting a weekly direct deposit, as have I. For those that haven't, go back and check that information, edit the profile, take one step and make sure that the information's accurate, even check with your bank. And that way, when you're asking these questions, you can say, okay, I've done everything I can possibly, and I still haven't received the check. Chances are
it's the Friday to Friday. So when you still see at the end that you haven't been paid, Vicky's updating on Tuesday and Wednesday is when you'll be paid for the previous week. So although you basically will see that in your account every single Friday, it'll be for the previous week. And then the other thing I would say is definitely I probably need to turn this off. Everyone do direct deposit, because it is cheaper than a check. And, a lot of questions I get are that if you make $20 on a week, you will not see that. It rolls over to the next cycle. They don't want to pay you a check for $20. It'll cost you 10% to direct deposit into your account. They want to wait until it'll roll on to the next cycle.
And the last thing I would say, I have checked with corporate about the $2 charge or $3 charge. That's just the way this is set up. It's a banking process. If it was any cheaper, they're not making any money off of this. They're trying to estimate the costs of sending out thousands of checks, and then also the checks that get kicked back if it's a paper check, having to reissue. There's just plenty of things that go wrong in the banking process that this is a necessary step. So everything you said is correct. And then if that covers that, Emily, what would you like to tackle next?
Okay, let's talk about the distributor group. I just want to kind of explain, right now we're in the distributor group, and then we have the HGH testimonial group. And so I know it's confusing that we have two groups and a lot for people to keep up with, but the distributor group is for us as distributors to process information, quick, access to links, videos, and the testimonial group is for us to add our prospects and for them to be able to read other people's testimonials. We've made it a secret group so that everybody is protected and we're not allowing people in that aren't your prospects. We've had a few, people ask us questions such as, we do have a lot of overlap as friends, but whoever adds them into the group, I will let them know, hey, that's your prospect. Please don't put your link directly on the page. We'll just save that for messaging or sending a text to your friend that may be asking, hey, who added me to this group? Most people can tell. It's in their notifications. Emily Jackson added me to this group. Kevin Debbs added me to this group. Wynn Jackson added me to this group. So they know, but there are people that just aren't aware, and if that is the situation, I will help.
Yes, and most of you can now see me clearly. I had to go through an extensive interview process to get added to the group. It's still touch and go. This call depends on my existence tomorrow in the group. So here on Ask Emily Facebook Live, what would you like to ask Emily next? What's the next topic, Emily?
No, I would say if anybody does have any questions, go ahead and post them. Comment now so that Kevin and I can go ahead and wrap those up at the end, because we do want to keep this short and sweet. Why don't you touch on Vicky? I get about 500 texts a day about where's Vicky. I've sent Vicky an email. Can we just maybe answer that?
Yes.
Our lifeline to the company.
Yes, Vicky's been tremendous for all of us, and certainly for the growth of all of our teams here on Team Limitless, you know, the separate teams and stuff. And so you've touched on a good thing. I would say everybody's number one question is, when is product shipping? And when do certain logistic challenges get fixed? So we all have certain things that are very important to us specifically that may be in terms of her priorities and stuff. It's there. It's just going to take some time to get to. This particular weekend, they went through a back office refresh. And so I know that she was very involved in some of what she could take care of was sort of pushed to this week. I did speak with her this morning. She is in fact alive. I know all of you rest easy knowing that. And I would just say we want to treat Vicky with utmost care. If there are things that we can fix ourselves, like the direct deposit issue, or a lot of times, and I totally understand this, and I can sympathize, when we get started with this, everything seems important. Do I have the right leg distribution? Do I have everything set up? And I can assure you, even for the people that may have rightfully so said, I haven't received a paycheck in X amount of weeks, they're not going to, take that lightly. It's just that it will get fixed. So I would argue that, when you have a question that you think you could maybe answer yourself, it's not to push you to that. You can certainly leverage it to the upline, but a lot of things that we direct to Vicky, we're just hoping she's going to fix. And I think given that we keep growing by leaps and bounds, and she's growing the service component as fast as she can, you want to make sure that if you can answer these questions yourselves, or talk to somebody who's had a little bit of repetition and offer you a little peace of mind, please by all means do that. That is such a nice compliment coming from our upline. John Lepresto, our superstar, our rock star, is listening in. He hates it when I mention it, but I can't help myself. So no, exactly. Just with Vicky, let's think about the questions we're asking. Understand she will get to them. Continue to build your business and take your process to another level while she's working on that. If in a certain amount of business days you haven't heard anything, by all means ask Emily or myself. But that's why this weekend was very tough. And when you don't get a response in 24 to 48 hours from her, try to leverage yourself and figure out, how can I fix this? And how can this be a little bit easier? Because chances are, knowing what I've been through for 4 months, a lot of times I sit there and go, oh, I think I could have answered that myself. And I laugh about that, because I'm the first one to raise my hand that I will immediately, ask Vicky. And I'm getting in the habit of trying to do that as my team is approaching 600 people, try to be self-sufficient. So it's not to dissuade you from asking the question, but just try to be efficient with everybody's process, including your own. It might help the process along.
Do you want to touch on product shipping?
Yes, I do. I would say that there's not been an update from the company. We've all been told, and it says in red letters, that we're seeing something ship on April 30th. I would just proceed with your business as usual. Speak to it, illustrate that. I know that there are people that want to continue their own trials and are wondering where that is. It's going to come. It's not like we're out of product. It's just a shipment issue, and they're just waiting for that to come in from the manufacturer. So, within business days, and then obviously once they get it, they're going to turn around and ship it to us within 2 to 5 business days. That's not going to be your issue, as Emily can attest to. And for a lot of people that are excited about getting to next levels and certain things, you realize as you go along with your process, and this is a speaking point, the distribution of this product is not your issue. It's helping people understand the value of this opportunity and knowing that this is going to take care of itself in a relatively short period of time. So as soon as we have an update, or if there's a specific day that says, okay, at this time it's going to ship, we will certainly share that. Vicky's not going to have that until the manufacturer comes back and says it's exactly at this point. And that obviously will be broadcasted via the website, but certainly through us as well. And we'll make sure to update you, but proceed as business as usual and just speak to it, because everybody knows what this is by now, being 20 days into this.
Well, and we've seen a few comments where maybe it's shipping more quickly, and I just don't want to overpromise to my customers. I'd rather, surprise them when it comes a little earlier. so to speak. Okay.
Just so you know, June 1st, we're not even having this conversation, right? So
we'll never talk about it again.
No.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Inside.
Hey, are you okay? Is Cujo there? Are you reshooting Cujo too? It sounds like it's a little dangerous down there. I'm just worried. Can somebody who's on Facebook Live in Texas go and find her? Cujo is on the loose.
Super professional. Okay, do you want to talk about inside legs?
Yes, and John is kind enough to help us. We're at 7,600 people, and we're growing by 200, 300 people a day. It's just fantastic as Emily moves away gracefully from Cujo. What everybody's, when you get started, and what has been broadcast and really instilled in all of us is you're always going to put people on your outside legs. If everybody's making that tree, there's nothing in the middle of my hands. I know it looks goofy, but
it's an upside down. You look
down my arms, just keep building down these arms. Just never put anything inside. There's no advantage to doing that. We've had distributors in the past who've said, well, it looked logical to me because somebody was in the spot I would normally put somebody in. You just look for the next available spot on the outside leg. So when you do one on your left, one on your right, two on your left, two on your right, don't worry. Leverage that conversation to somebody who's in your upline and say, okay, I feel like these people are aligned together. Does it matter which leg I put on? See what their response is. They're still going to coach you to the outside legs and continue to grow that. And yeah, maybe if there's a complete connection, but what we've found so far in 4 months is everybody's business process, everybody's ability to validate the product, and everybody's own marketing plan is going to be unique to them, even with the uniform process that we try to put in place and get tighter on that. And don't get caught up in the short term. Continue to add people. At the very least, if you have a couple people in your holding tank, that means you're growing, and just leverage that conversation into the upline, but always defer to the outside. It's going to be this leg or it's going to be that leg, nothing in the middle.
Right. And we can maybe do a quick video kind of explaining it. I posted one, but maybe we need to do something, where we kind of draw it out, because the inside is really for your distributors to fill in on their own legs.
Yes, I mean, if we were to take trees, right, they're all going to intersect depending on where they come in the business without confusing people. I think the best video I've seen, and it's not to tout him for any other reason than he is our resource. John LaPresta put out a great video on the YouTube channel that, if we have to amend or think about recutting one, but in the meantime, I would guide people to the Fountain of Youth Gel YouTube channel, which you could certainly, you've posted a couple times. As we've all learned here on this call, we might take a little bit more repetition to get things down. So I would just say there is a video out there. It's a great instructional from John, who really understands this, and you'll start to see how these legs intersect. Just worry about building your own team, stay to the outsides. And I can promise you, now that I'm 550 people in, beyond the first weeks of comprehending this, it's never tripped me up. It's always going to be building, and the high-class problem I have is where to dedicate my resources to balance out my legs. That's all. There's a question on there from Carrie Hambry about what did you mean by the last call that the HGH gel secretes out of your body? Do you want me to go ahead and just get that real quick?
Please do.
Emily?
Yes. Yes.
It has been, and I honestly, I'm not a doctor or a homeopathic herbalist, but it has been documented that, obviously since the age of 10, when our own natural HGH motor produces this and peaks, that your body naturally produces it at night and secretes it out at points during the day. So the gel is no different, right? It goes into your bloodstream, it's cellular, it goes in where the directions it needs to certainly repair and replenish. But it's a natural function. If your body just kept producing HGH and never secreted out of the body, there would probably be issues with how big we would get, certain things like that. So it's a natural function. And beyond that, I really can't elaborate other than I just know that from what I've read. Certainly would be happy to point you in the articles that state that, and then just let you know that if it's naturally going into your body at night when you sleep, and it just produces at a lower level each time we get older, each day we get older, this gel is going to probably work in the same function. It'll go into your body do what it needs to do, and then naturally sort of secrete out of it every 3 to 6 hours, as they say. So.
And then Terry had a question.
If we leave in the holding tank, yes, it will place it for you.
Yeah.
Within 48 hours.
It'll take 48 hours. So you kind of, if you know how, and use me, I'll help you. Kevin will help you also. I'll help you place them. I did a video on there that does help, but we just need to make sure that they, go ahead.
Can we just use the terms, let's just leverage Emily's strengths when we need to efficiently, rather than use you? It just seems like such a terrible term.
Can we use, okay. Yep, that's good. Yes, Mom, we will, they are automatically placed.
Just for the record, I did
not
not say that was your mother. I knew who it was, but I just wanted to answer her very politely.
Okay.
What else can we go over?
Anybody else have any questions? Because we need to go over our Who Wants to Be Coach meeting tonight with famous John Lopresto.
He is famous. I have to tell you, I've seen him live. It is sensational. The man, he performs. It's you will be swept away.
Yes. So anybody who really is ambitious and ready to go, jump on the call tonight. It's a Zoom call, and it really is helpful if you dial in the video Zoom, because you can see what we see. So we'll post those instructions shortly.
I would even go one step further. Hopefully all of you are ambitious and ready to go.
Hopefully all of you. Yes.
And I mean that thoughtfully. I know that there are some speed bumps and certain things that get in our way, and I'm repetitive to the last call we had, but you have such great resources at your fingertips, and it's the product that's leading the charge. So it should energize everybody to say, what are the levels that I can reach? If they're sitting right in front of me and it's only a couple weeks, a month, 2 months away, we're talking 60 days. There's not a whole lot that's preventing you guys from exactly what Emily has stated, that if you want to be coach, we're gonna spend a little bit of time tonight to go over that, just to give you something to shoot for. So I'll leave it at that and say I'll look forward to seeing everybody on the call.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for joining in.